Whereabouts are you today?
I'm in Port Townsend, Washington. Yeah.
Washington State.
Yes, correct.
Is
Yep.
that how's things over there? Is it hot?
No, it doesn't ever get hot here out. We're near the coast. It's actually quite cool and sunny,
Very
but
good.
probably 65 degrees Fahrenheit.
No, that's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah, it's great.
Temperate,
Uh, and
comfortable.
the COVID is better here than a lot of places, so
Well, that's good.
I'm
Yeah,
lucky.
we
But
had it. We thought we were done with it, and
I
then we
know.
weren't.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the way it goes. We got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it gives me time to talk to people like you, which is kind of cool, anyway.
Yeah.
So
I
so you
appreciate
got
it.
the album coming out on Friday, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's the band looking at it? Is it something you've been looking forward to for a while?
Yeah, for sure. We're excited to put it out into the world. We did the bulk of the recording right before COVID hit, February 2020.
Right.
So we weren't planning on waiting this long, but we, we felt like it was more important to do it at the right time and,
Right. Right.
take our time with it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're excited and we're getting together this week to play a few shows.
Oh, very good.
Hopefully, we'll see. But we're going to get together either way.
One way or another. Yeah. Well, you got to, I guess.
Yeah.
When was the last time you guys played together in front of an audience?
We did get together in July, not that long ago. We
Right.
played a handful of mostly radio promo things in July, but we did play in front of at least one live audience. And in June we did one show as well. So we're not doing a ton, but when it feels right, we've been. Yeah. I mean, we make a point of getting together. The three of us are really dispersed most of the time when we're home, but we make a point of getting together every couple of months at least, just if not just to rehearse and hang
So
out.
how dispersed are you?
All as far as you can be in the United States. So Noah is in Vermont. I'm in Washington State. And Noah. Sorry, did I say Andrew is in Vermont? Noah is in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's fairly
When he's home.
dispersed.
Yeah. Yeah. We met when they were living in upstate New York, and I was living in New York City.
Right.
That was like 12 years ago.
Right.
But, yeah.
So it's taken you 12 years to put this record out.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we've made a lot of other records with different projects, but this was always something we kind of had on the back burner, or we did a handful of tours as a trio, but it wasn't until we really retired our bigger Great Bear 6-piece band, and we're
Right.
like, well, we can really focus on honing in the sound that we want with this, and yeah.
And how would you describe that sound to folks who haven't heard you?
Well, people are having a hard time trying to describe it, but I think it's Americana. There's the one thing that I would say is that everything has groove. Groove is at the heart of everything that we try to do,
Uh-huh.
and that's the uniting factor. But you could call it folk, you could call it bluegrass, if depending how broad your definition of bluegrass is.
Right.
For us, we draw on a wide range of influences, but we have some songs, some more which are more on the folk side, and
Yep.
then we have some instrumental tunes, fiddle tunes, which draw on a wide range of traditions, New England, Quebecois, Appalachian, old time.
Right.
So, yeah, what is it?
And
Yeah,
so
we call it groove grass was one genre
bluegrass.
term
Well,
we
I
were
like that.
floating
That's cool.
around. Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
wondering if having those different options of what you can call yourself, is that a plus or a minus for a band these days?
I think for us, it is what we are, and we're a product of a generation that grew up having access to every kind of recorded music that has ever been, and
That's
so
true.
we've drawn on this. We've been hearing, and people are going to play, what they've heard, and I think you're seeing a lot of that now. People
Yep.
and the genre descriptions, they exist for good reason. Particularly marketing and selling yourself.
You got to call
and
it
how
something.
Yeah, you do, and you have to be able to describe it to people in a quick elevator pitch so they know if they're going to be interested or not.
Right.
And that's never been our strong suit, but the music is our strong suit, and I would rather it be that way than the other way around. So
Definitely. That's
when
cool.
people hear us, they tend to like it, and so we just are trying to get our music heard by as many people as possible and just let the music do the rest.
Yep. So you're the sax player in the band, along with banjo and vocals and whatever. So how does the band work? Because there's two brothers, there's Noah and Andrew, and then you.
Yeah. Well,
So
how does it? You mean psychologically? How does it work? Is
kind
what's
of
the
the
dynamic?
dynamics within the band.
Yeah, it's cool because brothers have their, they've been playing together and they're extremely close even as brothers go, but they
Yep.
have their particular relationship, which is specific. They have their specific roles that they're very comfortable with
Right.
within that, but that also has some sort of pitfalls, like any relationship. They've been going on for 30 some years now, and I end up being sort of this, I don't know, catalyst figure. I mean, having a third person in the mix helps to break up some of those, tendencies, I think. But we work really well together, and we've learned how to work well together over this time. We've been playing together for 11 years, and there's been ups and downs, but we really love hanging out together, spending time
Right.
together, playing music together or not. And no one's in charge.
Right.
I would say we all three take the lead at different times. Uh, Andrew and I both are more involved on the non-musical side of things, the business side, and
Right.
Noah is pretty much just like pure music embodied, and so he doesn't necessarily always know even like where we're going that night to play. You just gotta like put a fiddle in his hands and he goes. But we're fine with that because you can have a situation of too many cooks too if
That's
everybody's
true.
trying to
You can't
be
have
in
everybody in
charge.
charge.
No, so we've sort of found our way of like sharing the role, and throughout the process of putting out this record, it's been great because we all have home lives too, and are growing things in the garden, and have partners, and it helps to share the load. So
Right.
no one person's doing all the work, but and musically, the brothers do the majority of the writing, bringing original songs and tunes to the table, but we kind of arrange everything all together as a group, and it feels balanced because I feel like I bring a lot in terms of when we do the arrangements and come up with like, oh, this maybe needs a little instrumental hook or
Right.
a part here, or can we shift this thing? And that's often been my role with musical situations. I enjoy being like the side man, if you will, and like contributing in ways where I'm not necessarily at the forefront.
Right.
At the
Right.
same time, the saxophone is just like a very prevalent sound
Yes.
that
You
people
can't
notice.
ignore
And
it.
yeah, no, you can't. Yeah, as much as I try sometimes. But I do really love doing things where the saxophone's more in the background or more of a color than it
Right.
is like a strong soloist voice, and figuring out textures, blending it with the fiddle, or the guitar, and just experimenting with all that. Something I love about this band.
Right. 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 So you mentioned that the album was mostly recorded just before lockdown last year. Where and when did what kind of vibe and where
Yeah,
were
we
you?
had there's this great studio in Trumansburg, New York, which is kind of central New York, in the Finger Lakes region they call it. There's
Yep, I
these
know the Finger
Yeah, you
Lakes.
do. Okay. So
I'm from
it
Rochester, so
oh yeah, of course. You're not
very
yeah,
close to
not far not
Canandaigua.
far at all. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it was sort of a barn studio situation, and we were
Right.
staying with some friends down the road, and the three of us really just holed up there for a week. And our friend and engineer and drummer Dana Billings, he was the fourth member there, and
Right.
working the mixer, but also adding some drums on. And yeah, we came in with like a bunch of material. Some of it we've been playing for years. Some of it was pretty new, and there were a couple that we were like that weren't even fully formed yet when we got into the studio. But we came out after a week with like 90% of the tracking done,
Nice.
and yeah, feeling really good about it. And then then COVID happened, so the rest, the final 10% had to happen remotely. Like we recorded some vocals remotely, and we got Dana to do some more drums and percussion and keyboards, and our friend Zoe Guigano to play bass on a lot of it. And she recorded actually from where she was staying on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, so quite remote. And
Right.
we tried to hook up that whole thing with technology where we
Right.
were on Zoom together, but she was
Yep.
recording the parts. And
So how do you
yeah,
find that working like that?
oh, it's not ideal, of
Okay.
course, but I could be happy if I never did another Zoom for the rest
It's
of my life.
interesting
But
because some people are just who are more kind of the frame of mind they like to work on their own anyway. They're kind of reveling in it, where others are just
yeah,
like, no, I hear that reaction quite a bit as well.
yeah, I mean, it's it, it's here, and I think like it is great for me as a saxophone player. I invested in a good microphone here. I have
Yep.
my home recording rig now, and
Yep.
I love that I can just like add on to someone's project and kind of do it on my own time, and not be wasting anybody else's time in the
Yeah.
studio. The studio, there's a pressure there when you're in a studio because you're paying for the time by the hour, and that can be good or bad. I've had some really cool things come out of that, having that pressure and that deadline versus just having like an open-ended home recording experience kind of thing.
Right.
Like I said, we got 90% of the record done in a week. It took
Yeah.
us another 4 or 5 months to get that final 10%.
Too much time to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And by the end, you're just like, oh, I'm sick of hearing these songs again. But I'm not. I'm not sick of it anymore. We've had a little
Right.
break, and now we're back to being excited about it. So, yeah.
So the record starts out with a tune called Fourth Decade with some fiddle. It's kind of a bluegrassy tune. So tell me about that, just to kind of get things going as far as talking about the music.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Noah writes a ton of instrumental tunes. They just come out of his head and often fully formed, and that was one that he brought to the band, or maybe he didn't even bring it. I heard him playing it one day, and I was like, oh, we should try that. And it took a little bit of time for us to kind of find our voice on it, as like when he starts with just a fiddle, or fiddle and feet percussion, figuring out like, okay, what other instruments can help to support this and the vibe that you want. But and that one was one where we were in the studio, we were like trying a few different things, and we landed on this like double banjo thing. Both Andrew and I are playing banjos there, and it's a cool sound. We ended up being really excited about it, and it's not something we necessarily do live. We do if we happen to both have our banjos with us, but often, depending on which coast we're on, we have to make some choices about which banjos we're flying with.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that, I mean, the tune I love it. It really is like Noah has this way of playing the fiddle that's like soaring and joyful, but also like driving rhythmically. Everything he does is so rhythmic, and that, I feel like that's unique. I don't hear that from a lot of fiddlers. I love the fiddle, and I love a lot of fiddlers, and we're in a time where there are so many amazing fiddlers out there. But Noah is someone who came up with playing for contra dances pretty much exclusively. Like the idea of playing on stage and having an audience there sitting and listening is still very strange for him.
Right.
He's very much more accustomed to people dancing, and there being this sort of symbiotic relationship between the dance hall and the band. So I'm excited to just share that with the world and hear how people can react to the kind of energy he brings, and as a band, but especially Noah, I feel like he's this sort of like hidden gem a little bit there.
Gotcha.
He would not perform if it weren't for us kind of egging him on a little
Really?
bit about it. Yeah, probably. I mean, he'd be happy to just play small community contra dances. He's definitely not interested in like the competitive element of music in any means. So,
Okay. Now you mentioned the Finger Lakes before. There's a song called "Child of the Great Lakes,"
yeah,
which has a vocal, and so you're from Florida, right?
that's right. Yeah.
So,
You did your research. Yeah,
I
the
did a
brothers
little bit.
grew up in Oswego, New York.
Oswego. I've been to Oswego.
and then sort of relocated to Manlius, Syracuse area,
Right.
when they were teenagers, I think. But that area is so beautiful, and I've got to spend a lot of time up there with them now. I mean, when I was living in New York, I would often take the bus up to Syracuse, and
Right.
they ran a little dance weekend event in Oswego for many years as well, like right on the lake, and we would camp right on Lake Ontario and just hear the waves lapping on the shore. And
Yes.
it's beautiful, and it's romantic in a way that I don't think you hear about too much. You hear a lot of romanticism about parts of the world, parts of the United States, but you don't hear a lot about the Great Lakes. So I thought it was
We get the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and that's about
yeah,
it.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, there's things like, the Cayuga River on fire in Cleveland.
Right.
There's a lot of I mean, it's a complicated place because of the industrial, stuff that has come and gone there, and but it is beautiful. And I think the song, even though it's about where they grew up, it sort of deals with these like larger themes of like feeling complicated feelings about the place you grew up, and I certainly relate to that too.
Yeah.
So,
There was a nice line in there. I was never going to stay and you were never going to leave. But so obviously there's
yeah,
undercurrent in there as well.
yeah, I think about that. I was just texting with my sister earlier, who still lives in our hometown, and I feel like we have that relationship, sort
Right,
of.
right.
I got out as soon as I turned 18, as pretty much as far away as I could get. I still love it, but yeah, there's a type of people who just need to get out to sort of maybe find themselves, and there's some people that are just totally comfortable,
Yeah.
in that place. So it's
Whereabouts
interesting.
in Florida were you from?
Fort Myers on the Gulf Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, my whole family moved down to Florida, because that's what they do when they, they get
Yep.
older. I can see why
Yeah.
you'd want to move away.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful too, but
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, yeah, I'm happy to not be there right now. That's for sure.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
kind of a disaster.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, when you were putting the record together, and there are some, it's kind of half vocals and half instrumental. Did you have much discussion about how you were going to present yourselves with this record like that?
I think we've been doing live shows for a long time now, and that's sort of how the format of the live shows have kind of developed. And we wanted the record to just kind of show who we are as a band, which is like not necessarily having those lines between instrumentals and vocal songs. But yeah, I mean, I was excited. I think the songs, it's a different side of us than people have really seen much before. Whereas a lot of people are familiar with the Great Bear trio and like that which was all instrumental music,
Right.
and we took that quite far in terms of developing a sound that was like highly arranged, highly, like a lot of instrumentation and building these things. And we're still bringing, that's always going to be a part of who we are, and I think the tunes kind of show that especially. But the songs, I think, are like personally what I'm kind of excited about putting out into the world. It's interesting though, the tunes are what are somewhat more unique. When you just have a song like "Child of the Great Lakes," that's just out there in the world amongst thousands of new songs, and people can hear them in the context of the song and just, yeah, it's a song. But I think what we really, the most of the fans we have get pulled in because of these instrumental kind of high energy things that we do that are much more unique, I
Right.
think, to what we're doing. And then hopefully the songs, I like to think that people, can find different things to, like about the band. And so hopefully
Right, right. I'm
we're
sure they
giving
do.
them like a bunch of options.
What kind of folks come out to see you?
Oh, well, I mean, we definitely have the contra dance community, which is incredibly supportive. It's just this really like tight knit, sort of countercultural community of people of all ages. And they've been incredibly supportive, and especially these days, they'd rather be dancing, but as
Right.
that's not really possible, and we play a concert, people come out and enjoy it. I don't know what kind of people come. I mean, I hope that anyone would come and like it,
Right,
but
right.
the kinds of gigs we've been, we love playing like smaller, more intimate, like house concert vibe things. And this week we're going to New England. We're playing a couple folk clubs like Club Passim in Boston and the Jalopy Theater in Brooklyn, and we're also doing like a brewery, which we've never been to before, and that's maybe going to be more, people are going to just be there to hang out, and hopefully we're not quite doing background music, but we're,
Yep.
we think about who our audience is at any given time and sort of fit the show around that a little bit.
Yep.
But I think people who appreciate, good music, hopefully they're out
There you
there.
go.
I believe that they're out there.
And it's interesting because some of the songs are very specifically about specific places. There's the Great Lakes and Montauk and all that. But it seems to me that the more specific you are, the more it almost becomes more universal. People are able to put themselves in these places.
Yeah, I hope so. I think places was kind of a theme that we ended up with that we weren't really planning for, but it is, something that we all share a love of, just like traveling and really like experiencing places in a way, because it's just about like being human and the people
Yeah.
that you connect with in there. And it's something I'll never get tired of, and I think that everybody can relate to that to some degree or another. I mean, whether it's what you feel about a place, your connection to a place, whether it's your home or a place you travel to, or especially with the instrumentals, a lot, often the names end up being, because we associate them with the place, and they're, the titles of instrumental tunes can be tricky because you don't want to like insert too much meaning into a thing
Right.
People maybe will interpret their own way.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And I mean, believe it or not, we have quite the Americana scene down here in New Zealand as well. So
yeah, that's great to hear. I would love for us to come there someday.
come on down.
I know it's beautiful.
I know a great fiddle player that would just love to sit in with you guys. He's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, Andrew actually went to New Zealand once with Mark Mazengarb. You know him?
No, I don't think so.
He's a guitarist who lived in the Syracuse area, but he's from New Zealand originally.
Really? Okay.
I believe. Yeah, and he had occasionally gone back and did a tour or two, and Andrew went on for one. I think he was playing fiddle, but it was a whirlwind. I think they did like 14 shows in 15 days or something like that. So not a lot of time for experiencing the beauty of the place when you're running around that much. But yeah, I would really love for us to get there someday. So hopefully you can help with that.
I'll see what once we're allowed outside, it would be great.
Right. A long time down the road.
Because we were doing gigs up until like a week and a half ago. We're going out every night.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, here too. It's like we're small, and a lot of the smaller things are going on, but a lot of bigger tours where they have more invested, more to lose are getting shut down again, and probably that's going to increase in the next few weeks. So we'll see.
Very good. Well, thank you for spending time talking to me. Appreciate it. Very cool.
Yeah, Marty, thank you so much. Great to meet you.
My pleasure. Hopefully, we'll see you in the flesh at some point.
All right, sounds good. Cheers.
Right. See ya. Bye-bye.